or nothing stupid. It's
What kind of time frame are we looking at?
well, how long you want it to be. It could be 30 minutes. It could be
Probably any 45 to an hour.
Okay.
Does that work?
That's fine with me, brother.
Love it.
All right, so we sound good? Everything's good? All right, ready?
Rock.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge to Currency, where knowledge is power, currency is king. I'm your host, Senator Porter, and today my guest is Jonathan Mitchell, the founder of ADUPALS. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, man. This is a good episode to have you on because you're an expert in the space of real estate. But I kind of want to go over not just real estate, just some of your passions, the things you do, and why you're great to work with. We've been friends for a year now. I met you at our meetup, Margaritas and Mingle. Over that time,
amazing meetup.
Appreciate that.
Came up with Dante on that elevator, and you're the first person I saw, and just open arms and love, man.
And that's the whole point of why we do the meetup, is to kind of make those relationships. And I like that. I like Dante to know, because of me, you met this guy when you made you that $75,000.
Shout out Dante Pena. You owe Senator a steak, man. $75,000. You know
at least a steak, Dante. At least a steak. But one of the cool things about our relationship is you are like me. You lead with giving to people. You know a lot of great people, and your networking, the events that you've had, I've met some amazing people that you would never expect to meet at a real estate meetup. And it's not even only about real estate. It's about building relationships. Where did that come from? How did you learn how important it is to build great relationships?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I've talked about this before, Nakia. I've just kind of like people.
Right.
I'm a social person. I think that's sort of just in my DNA.
Mm-hmm. And
I didn't realize, as a kid or even as a young adult, that there was money in that. It was just hey, we're here, we're doing it. Mm-hmm. I grew up a hardcore Christian.
Right.
I call myself a Christian in training at this point.
Okay.
But in the Christian faith, other people love sort of things that revolve around giving is fundamental to being a Christian, being like Christ.
Okay.
And so when you, as a follower of Christ, emulate that and do that, you reap the benefits of that. So, to put it all in perspective, I try to do that. And as a result of that, you connect with people easier. I think people can feel that energy. Then as you grow and you get into business and sort of your priorities change, you realize, holy crap, all these people that were just friends now, own companies, and they like real estate, and, they're doing different things. And so as a result of that, you sort of are able to grow and cultivate those relationships, and money comes into play. For me, there's nothing better than making money with people that I could also drink a beer with and tell jokes, dude. It's that's part of the reason why I got into business.
Okay.
So I could wear flip-flops, tell jokes, and crush it.
And then you're a father. How many children do you have?
3 babies.
3 babies?
So my Ella's 9, my Abigail's 7, and my Hudson is 4.
Oh, wow. So
knuckleheads,
boy was
a
last.
lot of them.
Boy was last?
Yeah.
Okay. You want more kids?
I have my days, but I was at Target the other day walking through, and I was looking at, the child's section.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. It's a lot of work, man. They're little humans,
Yeah.
They require energy. They require effort.
Yep.
And I say this when it comes to children, being a dad is, for me, the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing thing. And you can hear it all the time, and people sound so cliche. Once you experience it, you get it, right? There's a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of work required. But those little humans, dude, they're yours. And, what you put in is what you get out. And so, holding the line, discipline, being there for them when they need a shoulder to cry on, picking them up, helping them, experience new things. I want in my home, kindness is really important.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to choose kindness. And I also really lean, me personally as a father, in on the choice thing. It's hey, you get to choose. If you choose this thing, dad's job is to discipline you if you choose the bad thing. And dad's going to do my job.
Right.
If you choose this other thing, then you're going to get all the benefits of making the right choice. Because I want to, for me as a dad, I want to raise little knuckleheads that when they become bigger knuckleheads, you know, it's not too much pain they have to feel that could have been circumvented by making better choices. Yeah, so I love being a dad.
I think we're similar because you didn't grow up with your father, right?
I did not. My dad.
Neither did I, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Single mom. Talked about that multiple times. Section 8 welfare kid.
Right.
But very blessed and fortunate, dude. So, like, for me, it's never a sob story.
Right.
It's not even an attention grabber. It's just a part of my upbringing.
Right.
We didn't have much. But then on the plus side, it's like I was born in this country, in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. I was born in the best city in the world, in my opinion, San Diego. Mm-hmm. And I was raised around men who, you know, in my church and pastors, and I had the Bible, and I had these teachers that sort of was like, you know, if you do good, you'll be rewarded. So yeah, man, you know, didn't come from much as a kid. Tell jokes sometimes with the boys, like, you know, how poor were you? I don't know if you ever have those nights. But it's like you open the fridge and there was only baking soda.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, you know, like I said, like it is what it is. There's people that had it worse and there's people that had it better. But at the end of the day, we all have a story. We all got to get up and get after it.
So being that you didn't come from money, how did you transition to get into real estate in San Diego, which is one of the most competitive and one of the most expensive markets in the country?
Yeah, I sort of don't view the world that way,
okay,
Senator.
So here
I'm like, if that guy can do it, I can do it.
Perfect.
And sometimes it's interesting. I see people look at me and, you know, people look at you and they sort of make an analysis real quick, right?
Right.
But ultimately, I love that because if someone looks at me and is like, this guy has this or this guy's done that, I can do it. What makes him special?
Right.
I'm like, exactly.
Right.
Nothing makes me special. I had that same thought, but then I put the work and the energy and the effort behind it over time.
Right.
Right? Over time. If I had a question, I did the work to figure out the answer. I wasn't afraid to knock on a door. I'm still not.
Right.
I'm a trained door knocker. I wanted to learn how to knock doors because sales is really important in business. I wanted that skill set. And so, first of all, not being afraid of the word no, understanding that that's a part of the game. If I'm a baseball player, I'm going to strike out. Mm-hmm. That's not going to stop me from getting up and taking swings. So, you know, how I got to where I am and you know, I'm a work in progress. I haven't arrived, is potentially, I think the best way to approach that is that guy has it. I want it. How do you do it? And follow.
Because when I met you, was it a year ago or just over a year ago, you just got out of the solar industry, right? To get into what you're doing today. Yep.
So I built a company, same concept. When I learned how to knock doors, I was knocking doors, selling solar.
Right.
And I was like, well, you know, I'm making $2,000, typical sales guy, right?
Yep.
I'm making $2,000 on this sale. The company's making 30 off me out here knocking doors.
Right.
How do I get some of that? Let's go do it. And so, you know, it was all sort of luck, and it was a great market. It was an emerging market. So, you know, I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So recruited some guys, started a company, you know, problems arise, and you solve as you go. And yeah, man, we ended up with that business. At our height, we had 115 employees. I thought it was 108. Wow. Then I called my GM, and she was like, no, at our height, we had 115. And yeah, man, W-2 employees in California, 60 trucks on the road. We did over 120 million in that business in about 8 years. You know, it was stop and go. But I think to answer your question or where you're getting at how I transitioned to this, I started investing in real estate back in the day because we had an A, B, C10, and C39 in that company. So I had all the licensing to do real estate.
Okay.
And ultimately, like, when I got in that business, it was, like I said, hey, I'm making this much money. These guys are making that much money. If they can do it, I can do it. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't understand COGS. I didn't understand what insurance costs, inflation was at the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand what COVID hit us really hard. Right. I didn't understand what it takes to run a business and how much actual grit. Mm-hmm. And no one's coming to save you. You have to figure it out. But But, you know, I tell people you got to get started because there is no teacher like time and there's no teacher like personal experience. You can read every book, listen to every podcast. You can watch every reel on Instagram about, you know, these big tech companies, Altman and Musk and Bezos, and it's all sexy and beautiful. At the end of the day, those guys have already arrived.
Right.
You got to do the work to get there on your own.
Right.
And so you can apply that stuff to help you get there. And you should get coaching and you should, you know, join a mastermind. You should have people around you that are awesome that you can learn from, mentors, etc. You also got to take the shot.
Right. Right. So you transition out of solar, ADUPALS. I know it's not just you. You got a team. I met your team. Guys are amazing. How did you how did you assemble this dream team?
So I'm always recruiting.
Right.
Always recruiting. Because if I can collab with someone, I want to do it. And so the more relationships you have, the more positive energy you bring, the more value you can bring to someone else, the law of reciprocity comes into play. And if it can work, it works. That's how business works. Like, let's make a deal. If we can, let's do it. If it doesn't, hey, love, man.
Right.
You know, how can I help you down the line? Or maybe it comes back around. There's something I say called turning on the faucet. So the reason why you need to go to meetups, the reason why you need to essentially meet people, and the sooner you knock on a door and say hello to someone, it's turning on that faucet, and you may never get the water because that pump, maybe that line's broken.
Right.
Or maybe the water's sour at first, or maybe, you know, it's uphill or whatever. But as time goes on, right, that water will come. And so the more faucets you're turning on, the more options you have for water, because you may hit water that first time.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a year, maybe 2, maybe 5, but the more faucets you're turning on, the more opportunity you have for water. So back to your question, I'm always recruiting. So I met Greg, our COO, on a webinar.
Okay.
A multifamily webinar. You know, the calls, like the syndicators and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just, him and I were the only ones talking, like adding comments and stuff, because we were really trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we connected literally offline, and we started talking. A couple months went by. I flew him out to San Diego, and we hit it off, man. We're like brothers now, dude. So
I like him too.
He's a good dude.
Really cool. Yeah, I like him.
So huge background in construction, built a GC company from the ground up, worked for Habitats for Humanity. He's built everything under the sun. And I wanted to solve for that.
Nice.
I know construction, I understand construction, but I'm not a pure contractor like he is.
Right.
But the cool thing is, like, our yin and yang works, Senator, because he understands finance, business, and has built a business. He understands the finance money portion of it, which sometimes contractors don't understand. But he really, really can get in the trenches when it comes to contracting. And the invert of that is, I understand construction. I understand subs. I understand timelines. I understand how money moves. I understand what it takes to, you know, frame something, pour foundations, you know, get permits, all that stuff. But it's not where I thrive.
Right.
I thrive on the other side. So it's a really good mix. And I feel like it was, that was the base of it. I've known Chad for years through another partner. He's a San Diego guy. And he was transitioning. He used to work for Alex Hermosi. And he was transitioning out of a couple businesses in sales that he was in. And he was looking for, you know, a new start. And so then we got together. And then our newest partner, Wang, you know, Cornell grad, UCSD grad, scientist. He was actually one of our first customers. We're still clients. We're still debating whether he was number 1 or number 2.
Okay.
But he, you know, is a syndicator and was doing that on the side in real estate, and also being a scientist. He got laid off from his job, and he ended up joining the team, man. So here we are, the ADUPALS.
So then you guys have a meetup as well. I want to promote the meetup. You do it once a month. When's the next one?
It is November 13th. I'm going hunting.
Okay.
I bought a bow.
Okay.
So one guy that actually, thanks for mentioning it, Deeds, Deals, and Drinks, guys. Usually the first Wednesday of the month. It's on the Meetup app. You can come down. It's in Little Italy. This this coming month in November, we are going bow hunting.
Okay.
So one of the guys in our community
Mm-hmm.
is he's a longtime Navy SEAL captain, and he's an avid bow hunter. So he's like, you guys should learn how to bow hunt. We're like,
In case
let's talk
it
about
goes
it.
down.
So he has 100 acres in upstate New York, and he puts on a deer camp.
Okay.
So we'll be gone the first week in November. But thank you for promoting it. You guys come check us out. We try to have really good speakers, try to provide value. There's no pitching, but we hope you make connections and grow, because we are abundance guys, as Senator mentioned.
Right.
We want people to make money. There's
Right.
enough out there. Go get it.
Yeah, because I think that's a big key is be open to promote other people's brands, other people's connecting opportunities for meeting up. Because like the stuff that you and Dante did, that was not anything planned. I just, hey, I know these good people. I want more good people to meet one another. The next thing you know, boom, somebody makes $75,000 just because you had a happy hour, just because you hosted an event. So I think that after COVID, like all the Zoom meetings and stuff, they're cool for if you can't see each other face to face, but that belly to belly like communication is very important.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for that, bro, because
Yeah,
you and I
sure.
have talked. You're like a connector of people.
Right?
The meetup you guys put on and sort of how you started when you came to San Diego. It reminds me of the story of Jamie Foxx. So I don't know about you, but I get in the weeds when like someone's interesting to me. I think Jamie Foxx is one of the most talented people in the world.
Sure.
Seeing act. He's a hilarious comedian. I saw him probably 10 years ago before he really blew up.
Okay.
He's hilarious.
Right.
Obviously, had the Jamie Foxx show.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
the guy's very talented. But the thing is, his story when he came to Hollywood, or how he got famous and known, is he just started knocking on doors, putting together parties,
Mm-hmm.
and connecting people.
Right.
And it was abundance. And then all of a sudden, it was like this person. And all of a sudden, he like, okay, well, there's the law of reciprocity. And so I think you have a similar gene or drive in you to do that, man. So the meetup you guys put on is great.
I appreciate it. I mean, it's obviously going on tomorrow, but it first started with 20 people. Now there have been like over 200 people month after month.
Crushing.
But what I do still like is that everyone is having real connections. It's not just, hey, you're showing up to this and, you know, to be seen or whatever. Like people are really trying to help elevate each other's businesses. There's a guy, Noah. He does a power washing company, 19 years old. His dad is a military vet, disabled, and him and his dad started this business together. 19, he never been to a meetup. I know when I was 19, I went to parties, but never a meetup. So
We met up, but it wasn't a meetup.
yeah, not nothing like that, not business wise. So this kid is way taller than me. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". We started speaking to one another, and he's explained to me what he does, and you know he doesn't really know what to do or what to say. So I just started introducing him to people. I'm like, hey, meet this guy. He's a wholesaler. Meet this realtor. Meet this person. Then I'm like, he started asking me questions. He's like, so what would you suggest someone my age? What would I do? I'm like, you need to get with all the real estate chapters. You need to get with any type of GC contractors, construction companies, home inspectors. Let them know what you do. So then other events that I go to, because I go to a lot of events, he started popping up into, like, I guess you would call the network of different people. He was at VA Rep. He was at I think association. I can't think of it right now, but every event that I've gone to, he's been there.
Love it.
And then he's starting to tell me his success stories and different stuff that's happening. And his dad is more introverted. He doesn't want to meet the people. So the fact that he's willing to take the lead and say, hey, I can handle this, because what you said was very important, is in business, you have business partners and someone's strong at one thing and someone's not strong at something else. I think a bad leader will try to make you do something you're not good at to get good at it when it's not necessary. Like if your strength is meeting people and going out to people, and I'm not really that type of person, I want to do the job, but I don't want to, then let that person go out and meet everybody.
Yeah.
He's still holding the flag. He's still representing ADUPALS or whatever the thing is. Why are you trying to make this guy that doesn't want to do that do it?
Yeah, there's a great book called Rocket Fuel,
Mm-hmm.
and it talks about that. So if you think of some of the biggest companies in the world, like Walt Disney,
Mm-hmm.
there was the guy who was the face of the company, which was Walt.
Right.
Most people don't know this. His brother was also a partner in the company.
See.
He was the guy behind the scenes. He was the yang. You think about Steve Jobs, right? Started Apple, but there were 2 other partners.
Right.
Steve Wozniak, right? Also a billionaire, but he was the guy, he didn't like the spotlight, right? So there is someone who is called the integrator, who's the guy behind the scenes, maybe more operation-based, maybe not as comfortable around people,
Right.
but still extremely valuable. And you're right. It's important no matter who that partner is, A, they're utilizing their talents, but B, that they're wearing those colors.
Right.
They're rocking that flag. And then that's how you build a team. Like I compare it to football, right? Tom Brady can't also be the center,
Right.
right? He also can't run routes.
Right.
Tom Brady was slow, but he was willing to take a pay cut to win.
Yeah.
He was willing to listen to his coaches, very coachable.
Right.
And he worked his ass off to be the best quarterback. And so, yeah, same thing for wide receivers, right? Like, I can run fast, but I can't block. I'm not 300 pounds, bro. You know what I mean? So the team is made up of people with different skill sets. I think humility is understanding, hey, I'm good at this. Not to, like I should be leaning into this thing. But I think that should be broken down. I don't think that we should ever stop growing.
Right.
Right? And also I think it should be looked at through the lens of what does the business need, especially in startup. If the business needs revenue, we all need to be selling. Period. Because without revenue, there is no business. I can't sit back and look at spreadsheets. We don't have any money coming in. Because I like to. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get out there and get after it. And then you got to build or earn the right to be like managing money.
Right.
Earn the right to be managing, contractors or whatever on the back end. Earn that right. But first, the business has to be making money. So I think, you should apply people's skill set where they're the best. They talk about that in tennis. You win with your best skills.
Okay.
Right? So if you're really good at serving, you lean into your best skill. But that doesn't mean you can just have a shitty backhand forever.
Right.
Right? You're going to win championships by leaning into your best. But you should also be working on the things that you're not good at. And ultimately, if I'm playing someone, my opponent is good at something, I have to adjust my game to win that match. And I look at that the same lens as business, right? Okay. What does the company need? And how can I provide value for us, the team, to make this thing go?
So let's go back to ADUs in San Diego. Where do you see the industry going now? Because it was a new thing when I moved here, probably like 6 years ago. I went to this meeting. They were talking about how they're going to start to release ADUs because of the housing shortage in San Diego. They had preset plans. Like no one even knew what they were at the time, even though they said that they were really big in like San Francisco and Los Angeles. That's what they were the origin of to help the housing crisis before. And with everybody moving to San Diego, they saw this on the forefront then. So there weren't like a lot of ADU companies at the time. Now you see more of them because it's more of more of a common thing in San Diego than it was 6 years ago. Yeah. So what are some of the things you see on the horizon for ADUs in this market?
Great question. So, for me, I'm an operator. I love the process of taking something that maybe 9 out of 10 people don't see value in. Okay. And helping to create value, taking that thing down, or if it's real estate, buying a property that's distressed under the market, putting energy into it, putting effort into it, putting resources and capital into it, and then making it better and bringing that online. The reason why I think we're very fortunate is the cost for real estate, as you mentioned earlier, in San Diego it's high, right? Generally, we have one of the most expensive cities to live in from a real estate perspective in the country. Our rents are really high as well. So the opportunity for ADUs is amazing because if you take that in conjunction with the housing shortage that's across the country, and not only the country, if you even look at the stats in Canada, there are places like Singapore, there are places, Australia, they don't have enough housing. So it's not even based only on the United States. It's not only California, and it's definitely not only San Diego. We need houses.
Right.
We need homes. And so California, whether you like the politics or not, comparatively to solar, was at the forefront of that. You know, some of the laws are great, some of them are not. But what they did do is, hey, we're going to try to solve for this problem. How are we going to do that? Well, let's talk about ADUs. So our team is the ADUPALS is a part of the Accessory Coalition.
Okay.
These are the guys that are trying to help pass bills. Jared and his team are he's called the grandfather of ADUs, really, really early adopter in this space and has helped pass a lot of these laws. And the team's still working. Check those guys out. Accessory Coalition. But the law that was passed by Newsom out of Sacramento, which gives us the 1-in-1 across the state of California by right, is amazing. It's helpful for the affordability crisis. But in San Diego, where we're going is we have an election coming up. It's Gloria versus Turner. Both mayor candidates are pro-development. And I think it's a very, very unique space that we are in because we're in a blue state. Generally, blue states are harder to build in. But in San Diego, our politicians, our leaders here are very aggressive, or they want units. Right. And they lean into the law from the state. So, yeah, man, you know, it's an emerging market. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of upside. But I want to caution people there's also risk. And that's why you need to be working with professionals. This is not a pitch about ADUPALS. This is, again, abundance mindset. Know what you're getting yourself into. Ask questions. Pressure test. Try to get as much information as you can. When you want to move forward and you feel like you're ready, obviously we are an option. There are other options out there as well. But ultimately, we want people to build because for us, you know, I'm a Section 8 welfare kid senator. Right. So, Me too. You know, housing is important, and we need more affordable housing for people who have less means. Right. And the only way to do that is to bring more supply online. It's not to create more laws or, you know, by law make people have to give more. By law, if you de-incentivize developers to build by putting extraneous rent control, there will be less developers. True. Because by default, developers, guys like me and you, and the guys you roll with, we take risks because we like to make money, but we're willing to take that risk. If we're decentivized to continually take that risk, we are going to apply our resources into another place that's more lucrative. Therefore, you're going to defeat what you're trying to do by passing laws that create rent control. I love what San Diego's done because we get market rate and we get affordable. So it's a 1-for-1. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, we're scratching each other's backs, and we all win. And because, let me finish this last thought, because the value of the real estate in San Diego is so high, it still makes sense. The pencil still works. I don't have to manipulate a spreadsheet to make it work. It works.
I was going to say, because some of the audience may not know, what is an ADU? As I forgot to start with that. That's my bad.
It's a granny flat. You can call it, well, it stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit. So it's an accessory to the existing dwelling unit. So it's basically an add-on. You know, they go by the name of granny flat, like I mentioned. What are the other names for them?
I mean, more or less a
pool houses,
mother-in-law suite.
Yes.
Pool house, just an additional living space on your property.
There's a cottage thing too.
Yep.
I don't know. I call them ADUs, bro.
But I just will make sure people realize and understand. So what I'm hearing from you, obviously, is to help with the housing crisis. The more places there are to rent, it makes more of a opportunity for you to rent. So then the demand can't continue to go up. Reason why things are so expensive is because there's not as much places for people to rent. So then the people can kind of name their price. But if you have more opportunities on the marketplace, it becomes more competitive and the price goes down.
That's right. So the market will always speak. We live in a free market society. Supply and demand is the first rule of business. So based on the supply and whether it's finite or infinite, that determines, that portion of it. And then the demand comes into play is how valuable is that thing that you have either finite or infinite resources of, right? And good companies, once they reach a certain point, like Apple phones, right? They can only create so much supply to meet the demand. And during COVID, what companies were doing is they were essentially manipulating the system and reducing the supply as the demand increases, because then what happened to the price?
Goes up.
It skyrockets. So the way to solve, to your point, for more affordable housing is to build more, because the market will speak. If I can choose as a renter or a potential tenant 40, 50, 60 properties, then, hey, look, the developer's on the hook or the owner of that property's on the hook, right? If I, as the owner or developer, want to get that tenant and they have 45 other options, what do I have to do?
Be competitive.
I have to be competitive on the price. And so that's the market, the free economy that we live in as capitalists. And I think we have an opportunity for that here. We need more developers, and that's why I'm an abundance guy. And I say this too, Senator, bro, like I could work 365 days a year, 7 days a week. There will be trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars made in that same time. You cannot work enough. That's why for me at 42, I don't understand people that are like, oh, that's my relationship. Oh, that's my money. Oh, that's mine. At this point, I'm not a judgmental guy, but like, I'm like, bro, your ceiling is getting lower by that thought process.
Yeah.
There's literally infinite amounts of money in this world. There's infinite amounts of people that you can meet. Do your job and keep growing, keep adding value wherever you go. The reward comes, bro. It's a byproduct of the work.
Right.
It's a byproduct. It will come.
Right. Yeah, do your 10,000 hours to get good at whatever you're trying to get good at. Try to solve huge problems, and you'll make money.
100%. And back to your point, because I'm just getting it now. ADUs, so really simply put, they're generally 12,000 square feet if they're detached.
Okay.
They're additional units, houses, apartments, property, real estate. They can be detached or attached. You can also convert existing garage space, unpermitted space. They're coming out with a new law where essentially you can, anything that was built as an ADU before 2020, I think, you can now get it permitted.
Good.
So basically it's a way that you can own a home. You can convert your garage if you wanted to. Generally, junior ADUs as well. Those are 500 square feet and below. Generally, it varies city by city, but generally 500 square feet or below. You can convert that into a livable space and then rent that out to create income. You could also build, as I was mentioning, detached and attached units. And the cool thing about San Diego is, unlike most cities in the state and around the country, we're able to do more than 1, 2, 3, 4, oftentimes multiple. I will say this, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
That's a great point. What I was going to say too, as far as like, what does your lot size have to be? I'm sure it's based on county or whatever, but I'm saying, do you have to have a huge lot to add an ADU to get that rental income?
Are you saying like, what is my buy box as an investor? Or are you asking like,
Just
I'm Tom and Sally and I want to get an ADU?
correct. Like I've had this property for last 20 years and I'm getting older. I want to get an investment property, but if I were to buy an investment property in San Diego, average house is over $859,000.
Mm-hmm.
But I could build an ADU on top of my garage, hire somebody like you to help me, and then let's just say, like we said, just 500 square feet, average rent over $2,500 a month for a 1 bedroom in San Diego. I mean, now the cost of that would be a lot less than 800,000, but I can still get the rental income if I were to build that ADU.
Yeah. So again, the great thing about our market is the value of real estate is so high.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's a high barrier of entry. The ADU space, especially if you can convert a garage or an existing structure, the cool thing about that is the frame's already there,
Mm-hmm.
right? The foundation's already there. So yes, there will be some saws, but you don't have to walk through that building new. I would say that it's more difficult,
Sure.
but with difficult challenges come bigger rewards. So when and if you make it to the other side, we talk about the game Monopoly. We take Monopoly very serious. Like we have an ongoing thing with me and my buddies. I'm the reigning 2-year champion. Not saying it's a dynasty, but you know what I mean. You got to pass go, bro.
Yeah.
You put houses on that property. You get a Monopoly. You want to put a hotel. You feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
You're hoping you don't land on someone else's before someone lands on yours.
Bankrupt.
That's the game we're playing. I think it's obviously a smaller scale when it comes to 1s and 2s for Tom and Sally homeowner. I will say this. Again, big challenges, big rewards. Retirement income to put yourself in a position where you're getting cash flow every month and you don't have to go to work.
Right.
Is not an easy thing to do.
Right.
But once you have done it, there's no going back to that. So I would say this, we do something called a PPR at our company.
Okay.
It's called a property potential report, also known as a feasibility report.
Beautiful.
We'll look at your property, we'll come out, we'll walk the property, we'll talk to you, we'll give you a 15-minute initial consultation to talk about what your goals are, what your vision is. And the cool thing I think about us that sort of separates us from other groups is we are investors first. And we don't hide that. We are investors.
Right.
So we've earned the right and are earning the right day by day through the pain experiences that we have put our equity, energy, capital into to save our clients that pain.
Right.
So we understand the market with our own money. It's not just a job to us. So, and again, with the networking thing, right, Senator?
Mm-hmm.
With guys like you, guys in your network, guys in San Diego in this space and across the nation and California as well, we're always learning and having conversations. Because if I can learn from your pain, I don't have to take that pain.
Yeah.
Right? And again, that transfers. So the more people you have, the more people you know at the city, the more in tune you are with what's happening in the market, new laws coming down the line. All that mitigates risk for our clients. And then we're also like, okay, what inventory is there currently? Inventory meaning units,
Mm-hmm.
type of units, et cetera, on this street in that area. Are you close to a college? Are you close to a ballpark, a stadium? Are you close to downtown? Are you close to Balboa Park?
Yep.
Are you close to the zoo? Is it better if we do this, that, or this? Bigger is not always better. A 3-2 is not always better. People who are inexperienced in this space think, oh, I just want to build bigger.
Right.
And I'm going to ask the question, why?
Right.
Let's run the numbers. Let's see who the competition is, what's coming to market, what's on market now. Let's talk about your budget. And let's talk about the best yield for your money. What's going to be the best for you and your family? So we do a PPR. After that, we move to the design phase. So we'll help you design it. You bring all your Pinterest ideas. We'll talk about it. We give you the 15-minute consultation. We do the site walk with you. And then we do an additional 30-minute consultation after to go over the PPR. Then we move into the design phase. We design what you want to build. We talk about what your options are, et cetera, through the eyes of an investor to help you with that. And then we build it. So we have an additional company, a sister company called 5 North Contracting, Inc., a licensed general contracting company. So we build for ourselves and we build for our clients.
So basically you got vertical integration because you're doing the consultations to prepare yourself for opportunities for the construction company. But then if you find an opportunity that you want to do yourself, you could use your own construction company.
That's right.
Smart. Very smart. I like that.
Thank you. Work in progress, brother.
Hey, that's all good. What is some of the biggest misconceptions you hear in the market now, either from customers or quote unquote people that believe they know what they're talking about, that what you run into often out in the market where they're like telling people stuff and you're like, no, that's going to end badly?
It's a great question. I've talked about this on another podcast, but I'll just say it again here. So build cost.
Okay.
Build cost, build cost, build cost. People are like, how much is it going to cost? And I think people need to understand, or I think the misconception is they're thinking about it like a car or buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
What is the price? But that's not what this is. It's a different product. You're developing real estate. And with that comes unknowns. It's unfortunate. I wish you talked about, pre-approved plans.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. Some ideas work from the state. Some ideas don't.
Right.
They're trying, but it was the same thing in solar. Pre-approved plans. What is this person's electricity bill? What kind of roof do they have?
Right.
Which way is that roof facing? What's the slope? It's the same thing. Topography. Mm-hmm. Are you backed up to a canyon? Mm-hmm. Right? Do we have to move dirt?
Ooh, that's expensive.
Right? Is your property right up against the lot line? Let's talk about utilities, the scary part of development. Mm-hmm. And frankly, the biggest risk.
Right.
Water, underground, overhead electrical, right? Sewer,
yep.
Plumbing, gas lines. So I can't just tell you what the build cost is, unfortunately. I wish I could. It would save me time, dude. That's the answer you want. I would give it to you. I don't know.
You can't.
And you don't know either. And anyone that can tell you I could build for this, hey man, I would double check that. Because, that person's probably throwing out bids and maybe you're going to get yourself into a spot you don't want to be in. Again, I'm not saying you can't do it. Mm-hmm. You should, but you should have a consultation. You should pressure test it. You should have someone that understands how to do this help you through the process, because it's not like buying a car where I'm going to say, hey, you're going to buy this car and your payment's going to be $500. And then you're going to sit back and be like, can I afford $500? My insurance is $250. It's $750. I want the car. Can I afford the car? It's not like that.
Right.
There are unknowns. And so that's why we start out with a tiny piece. Is this feasible? What is the potential of this property? What is your vision? What's your end goal? And then you have an understanding, and you have that forever. So for us, like I tell people, look, dude, I want you to win. You're not going to stop us, bro. You're not going to stop me.
Right.
There's more money, as I said, out there, and there's more clients, and there's more demand for what we're doing than any one person. And with all humility, I want people to succeed. So test us, test others, do your research. You can do it, but do it the right way.
Yeah. And plus, you think about it, if every person came to you, you couldn't service them all anyway.
Absolutely not. And I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because I'm an investor, bro.
Yeah.
There's only so much time in a day.
Right. Exactly. And then I was thinking of a question I was going to ask about.
This is great, by the way, bro.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Have you, in a situation where that comes awry, and like you guys were teaching us about buying property, if that's by a gas station and stuff like that, that you find out that there's major issues, how do you overcome stuff like that?
Yeah, great question. So there's something called a soil sample. Mm-hmm. Essentially, people go out, they're soil testers, soil engineers, and they measure the soil. They use their tricky wands, and they get in there and they see what's going on. Mm-hmm. So back to the question you just asked previously a couple minutes ago, the other thing I see a lot of is, this 7,000 square foot lot, you can build 30 units on.
Right.
And it's a great talking point, and it's super sexy, and it's, it's great for PR or whatever. But again, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of deal hungry people on the sales side. No offense to you brokers and agents out there. I love you. But is it really feasible? We do something called a lunch and learn as well, Senator. We'll go to brokerage firms and we'll explain to them, how to define what this property should and could potentially do. Because sales guys want to go out and sell. They want listings.
Right.
They're making money. They want to close deals. But also you should tell the truth.
Yeah.
And the more you educate yourself, you're going to come across more experienced. People are going to be able to feel that. You're going to end up getting more. The best salespeople are persuasive, but they're also truthful. So by just saying the same thing, this has ADU potential, this has ADU potential, eventually, I would say even now, you just get lost in the herd because every property in California has ADU potential.
True.
Break that down for me. We also offer a friends and family real estate discount for PPRs. So if you want to come to market with a listing that has a feasibility report study built or produced by professionals, you can offer that listing to the market. And it doesn't just say ADU potential, Senator. This is a feasibility report study on this property. This is what you can actually do. And then for the agents, that not only separates your listing from the other listings that don't have that, right? You're also separating yourself by not just saying this has ADU potential.
Correct.
It's actually the same point, but you get it.
No, but what you're saying is, really smart to do. Like, you don't just want to get that one sale, that one payday. You want to set these people up to have a true relationship so that, let's say they do knock it out the park on this investment, they decide to sell it. Now the place is something that can go to market and they can actually get a loan, because I know if it's over 4 units, you could have trouble getting it financed through the bank, things like that. So,
and that's where experts in lending, guys like you who have been in the space for a long time, come into play.
And that's important to set that person up. So then let's say they sell this particular investment that you helped them get in, they keep it for 4 years. Now it's worth a lot more money. Now they can come back to you and say, hey, let's do this again on something else.
100%. And we have a JV program.
Right.
There's guys that are in e-commerce. There's guys that are engineers. There's guys that are semi-retired. Maybe they own a property. Maybe they own 2. They've heard about ADUs, but they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
They need some support. We sit down and talk about it. You bring this, we bring this. Let's see how it works. Let's connect first. If it works, fantastic. We'll break down the deal. Let the numbers do the talking. Some people want to learn. A lot of people want to learn.
Right.
Generally, people are operators. They don't want to be sold.
Right.
They want to know what you know. Hey, we've earned this. We're willing to share it, but it's not going to be for free when it comes to this.
Correct.
But you will gain on the abundance side from me way more, because when you're our partner, you're in. It's going to be open book. And if you want to do this on your own, great. We're going to help you secure debt. We're going to help you understand debt. We're going to help you not get caught up with bad debt when your burn starts killing you and you're up against bad debt and debt's going bad, because I've walked through that.
Right.
I know what that feels like. Right. And when you have that experience of debt going bad, when you have it, A, you know what it feels like, and B, you don't want to feel that pain again. So you find a solve for it. And yeah, I live to fight another day.
Right.
Multiple new days.
Right.
But now I can educate our JV partners, our clients on that. Hey, look, let's look out for this. Let's look out for that. Soil samples. If soil's bad, back to your previous question, you don't want to buy that property. But is that agent going to tell you that? Or do they even
not
know
all
that?
the time, or they may not know. True.
And the other thing I would say is, to your point about longevity and clients that continue to buy from you, work with you, trust you, is people in California turnover housing every 7 years, right?
Yep.
Buy a new house. And it's like 7 years. That's a long time. You're thinking small, bro.
Yeah.
Turn on the faucet today, right? As many people as you can, and keep doing that. And what happens is the pipeline catches up. And so, then a year goes by and you keep turning faucets. But then you make it through that 7-year cycle. And now year 1 is catching up, but you're still moving forward into year 8. And now year 2, year 3, and now you're in the money. Most people can't make it.
Yeah, because like what you said, they have one deal that takes them out. then they have to go do something else, unfortunately. But if they were to listen to people that mentor them or join groups of people that know what they're doing, that's how you can weather those storms and get through the things like COVID or, like you say, you bought the wrong property or all those different things. The more connections you have, the better, because then you can, navigate through that stuff by talking to people in your circle.
100%. And I think that's probably just an entirely different, like, business-minded podcast. But there's so much information out there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who say you need to have multiple streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. It really depends. Right. I will tell you the majority of people who are very, very wealthy started with one.
Yep.
They leaned into one business. They grinded and worked and did everything that it took to make that business work. And then when the money starts coming, obviously you can diversify your income streams. But if you're touching too many things at once, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to make 60 plants grow because there's only so much time in a day.
True.
So, I would say back to your point, yeah, it's very important to have mentorship. And again, for a different podcast, but don't quit your day job and get into a commission job too early.
Right.
If you have a good W-2, let's say you're making 100, 120, 130 grand,
mm-hmm.
Start doing something else on the side, slowly learn, but then you're risk mitigating because you still are getting your 10K a month. You can still feed your family or do what you need to do, cover your float. You can obviously work on ways to reduce your float,
yep.
right? Your expense ratio, your burn on a monthly basis. Maybe don't drive that $100,000 car.
Right.
Then you can take that money and put it into a real estate deal or two, learn, meet contractors, understand how debt works, see how markets work, find really good agents that are bringing you better deals. And then ultimately you can move if you want to transition into real estate. I don't just tell guys to jump.
Right.
If you're young and hungry and you don't really have shit going for you,
right.
but you want to grind, call me, bro. We'll
right.
put you to work.
Right.
But if you have a good job, that's steady, you have responsibilities, bills, but you also want to make money, get into potentially the ADU space, create more wealth for your family so you can retire, do that with strategy.
Yeah, I mean, you have different type of investors. You have the person that's super hungry. They're young. They don't have any money. They don't have the know-how, but they have tons of time. So then they can partner.
Go to the meetup and meet Senator.
Yes.
You're young and hungry.
Right. So
don't come if you just want loaves and fish. You know what I mean?
No, but that individual team up with a older person that is seasoned and learn. And you may not even get paid at first, but if you show that, hey, I'm here to learn. I know I'm not going to get paid right away, but I want the knowledge that you have so that I learn it younger and figure out the reps, get my reps in.
So valuable, bro. There's no excuse in 2024.
And then now.
When we were growing up, we didn't have access to the internet. We didn't have YouTube University, bro. You want to build an engine? See you in 2 days, bro. We're going to do it. We didn't have that, dude. We didn't have that.
No, we didn't have
Oh, it's hard out here. It's rough out here. Like, bro, get to work, homie.
Right. You partner with people that know whatever it is you want to get into and offer to work for free. Like, hey, I just want to learn first. Don't worry so much about the money. The money will happen if you do the work.
Yeah, so I had Larry Turner, who's running for mayor of San Diego, on my podcast, and he talked about that. Mm-hmm. So I do the skip the lines, basically at the end. You were on the pod.
Right.
His thing was internship.
Right.
So most people, I would say probably 85% of my guests talk about mentorship.
Right.
Which I believe in. But just like everything else, coaches are not all created equal.
Correct.
Right? So ask someone that's done it.
Right.
How much access am I going to have to this actual coach?
Yeah.
If I'm paying $50,000, when do I actually get to talk to Grant Cardone?
Yeah.
Or is it Grant Cardone's first hire who then hired another guy who hired another guy, and then I just have to go online and read his thing?
Right.
I can go on YouTube and get it for free.
Yeah.
Right? But if I'm going to hire a coach, where is he in his business? Right? How aggressive or hungry is he to teach me? Does he really care? Does he not? So I believe in all that. Mentorship's really important. The other thing is internship, which Larry's the only one today that's talked about that. I'm only on like episode 30, but yeah, internship, bro.
Right.
Like, go work somewhere for someone that crushes it. Be quiet and learn. Go get coffee and be thankful that you're able to do that, because the more you bring someone coffee, you're adding them value to their life. And maybe they ask you to stay in the meeting. And maybe the person sitting across the table from your boss is worth $200 million. And maybe you get to understand how these people talk and operate and think and act. How valuable is that? So to your point, knowledge is extremely valuable.
Right.
But we live in a society of the microwave, bro. I want it now.
Yeah.
I want it now. I want immediate gratification. That's not how you get rich, bro.
Yeah, you won't appreciate it as much. Like,
Absolutely not.
Anytime I got money that just came to me, I blew it.
There's no substitute for time either, Senator.
Yeah.
Time in the saddle, bro.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for it.
Yeah. You respect it more if you had to do those steps, those 10,000 hours, man.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, nah, man, I know how long it took me to get to this point. I'm not going to blow it.
100%.
But
I 100% agree.
You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
When someone gives you $1,000, that money's gone.
Earn your stripes and understand the value of $1. But yes, if you're working super hard and you've earned that dollar, you get it. But on the other side with abundance, bro, there's a lot of dollars out there.
Yeah. No, I agree with that too. So now, as far as like, what are some of the goals that ADUPAL has going to the future? Obviously, you want to grow. How, do you want to have it 150 employees?
No.
Okay.
No.
You want to be investor driven.
I've been to Abstract thinking about it. No. So we are full-time investors.
Yep.
And we love, as I said, being operators.
Okay.
Buying real estate, making it better, creating new housing to solve for the affordability crisis.
Wonderful.
And provide wealth for ourselves, our teams, and our families. That's what we love to do the most. We love providing that service to our clients. It fits right in, right? It opens conversations. So let's say that, you are thinking about doing an ADU because you own 3 properties or maybe 3 ADUs, right? And you come to us and we give you a PPR, we talk, we become friends. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't have any money. Then we can solve for that.
Okay.
So those two things work in conjunction with one another. We don't want to be the biggest, baddest IPO ADU company in the world.
Okay.
I have learned from my time in business that more is not more. Just because something is sexy and looks really good on Instagram doesn't make it the right thing to be doing. Gotcha. I'm more interested in what's under the hood.
Okay.
What's under the hood? Let me see your actual numbers. Are you profitable? Right? Mm-hmm. Is this business sustainable?
Okay.
Right? Like, how many times do you SWAT this business? Are you looking at new challenges? Right? Like, that's the stuff that matters to me. And when I compare a massive amount of top line revenue and head count, what business are you in? Do the numbers add up? And human capital, like it or not, is expensive.
Yeah. Especially
in California. So if you compare, let's say, a law firm, there are lawyers with 4 or 5 partners that make $50, $100 million. So I don't think more is more. And also, to answer your question very specifically, Senator, I don't want to be the richest guy in the world, bro.
Okay.
I value freedom over everything. That's why I started, part of the reason why I got into business. That's why I'm rocking flip-flops today, bro. There's a lot of people that think a suit and tie is the way in boardrooms and the thing. And hey, bro, more power to you. I'm not judging. I love it.
Right.
It's a free country.
Right.
I'm in business so I can rock flip-flops, dude. So I can go to Fiji. I own 2 acres in Fiji and just be there.
Nice.
Go dive.
Nice.
Yeah, bro.
We still got to go see your boy in Puerto Rico too.
Let's go, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just in Dubai. He just got back to yesterday.
Yeah, you can see his Instagram. That dude's laughing the whole way.
Shout
to
out
the
Robbie
bank.
Cobbs, my guy.
And Rob was him and his wife were so nice. Like I met them at that meetup.
They're great.
Yeah, super nice people. I was gonna ask you another question about so my opinion of ADUs. I think that for the right person, it can basically make it where they're getting older, about to retire. They may not have a nest egg ready, but if they like use the ADU, it could help them pay for their later years in life to not have to leave San Diego and move to a cheaper place. 'Cause that's what you hear a lot.
That's right. So again, every situation's different. Everyone's budget, everyone's goal is different. Every property type is different. We provide financing options. We also started a lending company
Nice.
called Lending Pals, LLC. That'll be coming online soon. But yeah, I mean, we understand how money works. And again, like the thing that separates us is we're investors. We get it. People sometimes are uncomfortable talking about money.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're conditioned to not show weakness when it comes to money.
Right.
So, but if you want to be an investor, you cross over that really quickly. We talk about money openly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing the game of Monopoly, everyone can see how much money you have.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if I'm trying to do something, I have to be willing to trust my partners. They're not going to judge me. This is the goal. This is what we're trying to do. Cash flow cycles move. Businesses have really great years. They have shitty years. You have great weeks, months, et cetera, and you have bad ones. But when you're comfortable with your network, you're comfortable with your people, you can learn from the weakness.
Right.
And when you have good mentorship, you can be like, hey, look, this is where we're at. This is what we're struggling with. A good mentor is going to be like, oh, yeah, I went through that. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do.
And the funny thing about money
So,
is...
sorry, let me just finish that. So with ADUs, we help our client, Senator, understand that, feel comfortable with it, turning the page from being a homeowner to an investor and the challenges that come along with that. Talking about money. How does it work? How do you source it? What's the upside? What's the downside? What's the upside of using this contractor versus that contractor? What's the upside of these finishes versus those finishes? If I build this thing, am I going to get the return on my rents? Right? Is a marble countertop better because I saw it on Pinterest and it looks sexy on Instagram or whatever?
Right.
Is that going to make me money or not?
Yeah, is it necessary?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but the funny thing about money is people will treat you differently if you have a lot of it.
They get emotional, bro.
You know what I mean? But if
We say something in our group, Senator. You don't let money control you. You control it.
right.
Oftentimes, you can set yourself apart by just not being emotional about money. And bro, look, there's pressure when it comes to tight cash.
Sure.
It's comparable to oxygen. When it's there, you don't think about it.
Right.
When it's not there, it's all you can think about.
Right.
But again, with experience and time in business, you realize, hey, bro, we're running up a hill right now. Sometimes oxygen's gonna get tight.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I've learned over time that I'm gonna be all right. I gotta keep running, and then what happens? The body gets better, your lungs get better, right? Your heart gets better, gets stronger, and over time you're less concerned about it. But that's the thing, right? I say this all the time. I'm gonna say it again here, guys, on Senator's Pod. You have to get started. You can do it. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be difficult. Grit is something that's undervalued in 2024. Learn what it means and lean in.
That's amazing. Do you have any announcements and stuff that you got coming up?
So, Deeds, Deals, and Drinks on the Meetup app, 1420 Kettner Boulevard. Usually the first Wednesday of the month. We're going to have November and December. It's not the first Wednesday of the month. So, December 12th is going to be our Christmas party.
Okay.
Multiple speakers, Marcus Kurth, Sean D. Martell, and Jason Reese, all long-term investors and business owners going to be there sharing. We're going to cut it off at 125.
Okay.
Catering, we're going to have multiple comedians there.
Wow.
Open bar, and like I said, catering, probably going to have Mexican food. And photo booth and just sharing and good times. So we'll put that out. And then we'll be at the home show in San Diego at the Convention Center early January. That'll be 2 days. Both 5 North Contracting Inc. and ADUPALS will be there. But yeah, man, if you're interested in learning about ADUs, come to the meetup. Hit me up on Instagram, Jonathan Mitchell RE. We're open. We're open to helping people, sharing, providing service and value. And we know at the end of the day, the big guys watching is going to come around.
And their meetups are free, just so you guys are aware of it as well. And each one I've gone to, I've either made a connection or learned something that I didn't know. And I've been in real estate over 25 years, so that says a lot.
OG!
Right. Well, I know that you got another hard stop. So first off, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I know this has been something we've been trying to meet schedules and make it happen. I think you're giving a lot of value today, and I hope that you enjoyed your time on the show, and I appreciate our friendship.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, so until next time, just in the words of Dr. Dre, just chill till our next episode, and we out.
Peace.
All right, bro.